Welcome back. Episode 13. 13? 13. Episode 13, I think, of the No One Asked for This podcast. I'm not in my apartment, which is great. You guys are probably happy to see that. But that almost always means that I have a guest with me today. I brought what I would look like if I kept growing during puberty. Ladies and gentlemen, Gabe Dannenbring.
Hey, I'm so pumped to be here, dude.
Are you?
I'm so excited.
Everyone says that. Are you actually pumped to be here?
You know what? Actually, I'm just gonna leave.
That's fair.
Now that I am so excited to be here. Like, I think what's cool is like our friendship and how it's evolved from like just random guests on a podcast to then we were hanging out in Orlando for a while. Then we're hanging out in LA for a couple years, and then now we're in New York and we're hanging out. Like, it's awesome. It's so cool.
It's the way that it's meant to happen. It almost reminds me of like, you know, my friend Brian.
Yeah.
He's psychotic. I love it.
Just watched a video of him on your Instagram.
Yeah, he's out of his mind. I love it. But he and I we had like a similar trajectory to you and I, where it was like we were in similar groups for a long time, and then all of a sudden we realized that when we were in those similar groups, it's just us talking. Yeah. Right? It's just us hanging out and we're shooting the shit and we're having fun. But I realized pretty early on, I was like, Gabe's cool.
Yeah,
you know, and I did the same thing with Brian. I was like, I hate all these other people, but Gabe's cool. Like, literally, I'd rather never be around. Well, actually, we have, in fairness, the podcast that you and I met on, and like the sort of groups that we were in, they're full of good people.
Lots of good people.
It's just like, I'd rather do this.
Exactly.
You know, I'd rather take the good people and bring them in and talk. And like, we had Shelby on the other day, and it was just like, and we were saying this right before the podcast, where it was like, it would be one thing if I was bringing on guests because like some publicist was like, you should bring this kid on.
They're on a book tour.
Yeah, exactly. Or like, this kid did a dance and got 10 million views on one video. He's got to be on the podcast. And it's like, all right, dance. But no, it's
for an hour.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm just sitting there. I'm like, I'm like, you know what? This should get 10 million views. But no, it's nice to be able to bring people on the podcast that I like would invite out to anything. You know, it's like people that I would hang out with outside of things, because then it just comes natural. Like, you guys didn't see this, but we sat down like 10 minutes ago and we immediately started talking about everything going on in our lives, and I was like, we kind of need to save a little bit of this for the podcast. But it's a good thing, you know, and in the end, that's like kind of how I want this podcast to be, because it's like if I'm bringing someone on who I've never met before, like for instance, Kyle Frazier, the kid that won Survivor and almost got me to burn this place down.
Madman.
Insane. Absolutely. If you haven't seen the Survivor episode, I almost light the studio on fire. Luckily, I'm not like a real man, so I couldn't make the fire, but like it was close. You had to get somebody who's like actually developed to do that. But no, it's like I bring these people on, and even people who I don't know personally, I want them to feel like they're sitting in a room hanging out with a friend. And I think that I'm pretty like low stress enough that people are like, what am I going to do? Attack somebody?
You're so easy to talk to, right?
I appreciate that.
Like one of your many skills is your ability to be warm toward people. Like when we first met, I didn't know what to expect. Like I really didn't. Last year, I was at the Daytona 500 and I was from you to me to Jeff Gordon. And we were working with NASCAR, doing this whole thing. And all of a sudden I see my childhood hero walking down pit road. I'm like, do I go say what's up to Jeff Gordon? And I thought to myself, I don't want to be disappointed. So I'm just going to let him keep going and just think in my brain, like, I'm going to let I want the 8-year-old version of me just to keep that, you know, like I don't want to have that conversation with him as an adult now and be like, oh yeah, Jeff Gordon kind of sucks.
Yeah, it's true. Well, you know what's funny? It's like it's true about the whole like meeting your heroes thing, and like what you mentioned before. Like I don't think we're anyone's heroes. If I'm someone's hero, we have lost the plot. We are so far from like the tracks.
I was no one's hero at John. What was the name of the place we went last night? Paragon. We was listening to house music in a basement last night. Was not.
Oh, you found house music in New York? Thank God. I was gonna say, it's like finding somebody like fentanyl slumping in Boston. But no, it's like, when it comes to the conversation of like the heroes thing, I think back to like, I went to a lot of concerts when I was a kid, and I was really into like death metal, which is why I'm so edgy.
Respect.
And so that's why I'm so edgy and cool. But
at night, do you just like part your hair down and put on eye black?
100%, where I just scream all the small things into the mirror. But I remember I went to a show and Papa Roach was playing.
Nice, dude.
And I loved Papa Roach because it was like, what was it, Last Resort?
This is my last resort.
I would scream that. Yeah.
No breathing.
Those lyrics in a 5th grade classroom, and my teacher's like, learn math. And I'm like, no, well, you can't stop me. It's not a phase. But I went to the
Roach
show.
for life.
So I go to the show, right? And the singer, Jacoby Shaddix, he was on Scarred. Do you remember the show Scarred on MTV? So it was all about people hurting themselves. And me as a kid, I'm like, yeah. I'm like, this is metal. So I'd watch this, and it was Jacoby Shaddix, and I was like, I also love your music. You're showing me people breaking their legs. It's like, this is great. And I went to his concert, and it was me and my friend Casey and our dads, and we were like way in the back of this this massive concert venue in Mansfield. And in the middle of the crowd was this long pathway where the singers could walk up if they wanted to. And we were like right up next to the end of the pathway, right? So we were like 3 or 4 rows away from where he would be standing if he walked all the way up, and he did. So he's walking up, my soul leaves my body. I'm like, Jacoby! And I'm like, we're gonna go up to the front.
Did you call him Papa?
Papa!
Mr.
No,
Roach,
yeah, he
Mr.
starts throwing shit at me. No, but he like, so we get up to like where the stage was, and he was this far away from me.
Yeah.
So I'm a kid, I'm in 6th grade. I'm like, I'm gonna grab his foot. Because I'm like, why wouldn't I grab Jacoby Shaddix's foot while he's singing Last Resort and like kind of reminiscing on his childhood? I grab his foot, he donkey kicks back and kicks me flat in the forehead. And I had like a boot mark on my forehead for the rest of the concert.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and I think it's part of the reason why I'm like this way. And to this day, I'm like, I remember walking away, and as a kid, you're so blinded by your heroes that they can kick you in the face, and you're like, I'm never washing this forehead again.
Yeah. You know what I love watching? I love watching videos of celebrities losing it on people. I think it's like, I don't know what it is. I just can't stop watching it. Yeah. Like I saw one of John McEnroe. You know who John McEnroe is? He was this former, he was a tennis player, notorious hothead. Sure. Notorious for just losing it. Yeah. And there was this autograph sniper. You know, like that's the thing that all these people are doing. Like they're just trying to get these autographs from these celebrities, and then they go resell it. Naturally. And he just like lost it on this person, and I couldn't stop watching it. And it was like one of those things where it is a good reminder of like, hey, these celebrities are just people. It's true. You know, like there's that Tobey Maguire clip when the paparazzi are, and he's like, get out of the way of the car. I don't know if you ever, like, it's just, you got to see those, like, these are just human beings.
Yeah, and I think it's funny because I have had a really positive experience with a celebrity. Like, Rania and I were in LA when I moved out there to be with her, and I had my first experience of like, oh my God, I'm in the room with like a real celebrity. Yeah. And we were at Jones on 5th. Something like this.
Is that like a club or a bar?
No, it's a breakfast place.
Oh, sweet.
It's bomb as hell. If you're ever in LA, go to Jones on 5th and get their breakfast burrito. It's nuts. Like it is, you'll quit every diet you ever try. And we were in there, and it's notoriously known because it's in LA and it's in like a pretty good area in the Valley, and celebrities go there all the time. So we're sitting there, and Jeremy Allen White walks in.
Really? The
with
bear.
His 2 daughters.
He's got 2 kids?
2 kids.
Good for him.
2 kids, and they're chill, and they're like, they look just like him. They're
and
like little
he's being
Jeremys.
a dad.
He's being a dad.
That's awesome.
And I look at Ryan, and I was like, stop. And I was like, this is a serious like make or break moment, because the realistic part of me is like, you don't say anything. You let him live his life. He's with his kids. You're not going to do anything. But then the other part of me was like, it threw me back to like high school and college, where I've seen Shameless 3 times. Yeah. I watched this man grow up on this show, and then The Bear. Don't even get me started on The Bear.
Yes,
that
chef.
masterpiece.
Yes,
literally,
chef.
yes, chef. I wanted to be like, can you get back there and cook? But I was sitting there, and I was like, how can I tell this guy that he has made a substantial improvement on my life in his ability to act without walking up and like pushing his kid to the side and being like, Jeremy, I'm your biggest fan. Yeah. So I was just like playing it normal for a little bit and like internally combusting. And he was like done ordering, and his kids were chill and everything was fine. And from the table, he was as far away as you are to me. And I was like, Jeremy, I just want to let you know, I love everything that you do. He is like, wow, thank you. Thank you so much. Really? And I'm like, stop. I'm like, don't do this PR bullshit with me. Don't really?
Yeah.
I'm like this random Polish kid. So he like turns to us and he's like starting the conversation where he's like, really? That means the world. Thank you. Thank you so
cool.
much. And takes like a full minute. And I know that's not a lot of time, but it's Jeremy Allen White.
Yeah.
He's
he's A-list celeb,
an
right?
A-list celebrity, like one of the biggest actors right now. And he like took the time to show appreciation for it. And I was like, he didn't have to do anything. He could have done nothing. I would have been like, he's a great guy. But I saw that and I was like, he is a phenomenal individual, like a really phenomenal guy. And I know that his life must be insane. He's walking around with his 2 kids. It's like the fact that you stopped to talk to me for 2 seconds is insane.
Dude, so I had a celebrity run in on the plane on the way here.
Oh,
okay. So this is crazy. So my brother and I were flying to New York, right? And we're here, we're doing some work, we're doing this, we're seeing some family here, all this stuff. So we're connecting through Minneapolis. And I see this guy that I'm like, God, he looks familiar. He's bald. He's got these big black round glasses. And I'm like, that looks like the guy from Easy A, the guy from Devil's Wears Prada. He's got the cooking show, I think, on Apple TV. I'm like, man, that looks like him. I'm like, and then he kind of looks over at us and just kind of like, we made eye contact and he looked away. I'm like, oh, I probably embarrassed myself. Like I made eye contact with the most famous person that's in this room.
Naturally.
And then, so my brother and I were sitting there and all of a sudden we get called up to the like the desk. And like, hey, good news, bad news for you guys. We have one upgrade and one of you are up for it for the first class upgrade. Which one wants the seat? And my brother is like, oh, you take him. I'm like, oh, sweet, that's awesome. All right.
I would have taken that in a heartbeat.
So
I would have been like, you stay right there.
Are you sure? Okay, I'll take it.
Yeah, you stay in 76D.
So I'm like, oh, sweet, this will be awesome. So get on the plane, and I see he's sitting behind me. And I sit down, and all of a sudden I feel a tap on my shoulder, and he goes, hey, man, I love your videos. And I'm like, oh, thanks. Like, I appreciate that. And like, I'm 95% sure this is the guy. 95% sure. And then he's like, hey, I want to let you know, like, I love what you do teaching wise. I think that's so cool. I've got a bunch of friends in Pennsylvania who are teachers. Like, I think it's so cool. I'm like, thanks, man. And I wanted to be like, hey, are you Tony? And I blank on his last name. It's like the super Italian name. Yeah. And I didn't want to go there because I was like, I don't know if it's actually him or not. And then we get off the plane and he's like, hey, dude, keep up what you're doing. Like, keep up what you're doing. And then he started like referencing my videos. He's like, that video you did a couple days ago, that was super cool. And I was like, hey, tell me about you. Like, do you live in the city? I heard that. What were you doing in Minneapolis? He's like, no. I don't want to talk about me. I want to talk about you. Like, keep being a teacher. This is awesome. Keep making your content. It's like, this dude rocks.
It's sick.
This is like an A-list celebrity. And there's some of those people that are awesome. So then I sat on another flight with Henry Winkler, the Fonz.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So,
what the hell?
Yeah. So this was when it was actually for Legacy, when we were going there for
the ball.
For the ball.
Yeah.
So get to Minneapolis and then I'm in line at the Sky Club. It's like 6 a.m. So it's just getting open. And there's these old people. They're like, did you see who's back there? I was like, no, like, it's the Fonz. The Fonz is back there. I'm like, oh, sweet, cool, all right, the Fonz. Yeah. And then I was like, oh man, I wonder where he's going. I'm like, well, he's probably taking the first flight to LA out of here. I wonder if he's gonna be on my flight because I'm going to LA as well. And then I get ready to board the flight and I don't see him. Like, oh, we must not be on the same flight.
Sure.
As I get on, I see that he's sitting by himself. And I'm like, huh, my seat's really close to that. I wonder if I gotta be like behind him or something. Sure. Sit right next to him. Sit right next to the Fonz.
Jesus Christ.
And then
did you go, hey?
Every ounce of me wanted to, but it was like 6 a.m. and I knew he did not want to do that.
Of course.
And we were Central Time and body time for him was probably 4 a.m.
Yeah.
So that dude played the most Candy Crush and slept the hardest I've ever seen of anyone on the flight.
That's the way to do it.
Yes. But I couldn't believe how many like older people on the flight went up to him like, hey, I loved you in the Fonz. Thank you for all those memories. And he was so cool about it.
Of course.
He was like, hey, I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
And then we'll like have these conversations. So you see all these like bad clips of celebrities freaking out, but there's also those moments of they're just like, oh, I appreciate that, man.
Well, I mean, I think there are celebrities like these A-list celebrities who just get pushed to their breaking point because a lot of them like end up in the stardom and they didn't necessarily ask for everything that comes with it. But I think in a funny way, it's like influencers and content creators are sort of like a microcosm of celebrity life, but they're doing it by way of something that's accessible to everyone rather than just people who, watch this type of movie or listen to this type of music. So the ceiling for influencers to have people to be like, hey, I watch your videos is actually substantially higher than that of somebody who makes country music.
Yeah.
Right? Like if you have somebody who's making country music, you are going to be tailored to people listening to country. For influencers, it's like, even if you're scrolling on your For You page, they're going to throw you something that might not be in your wheelhouse.
Yeah.
You still see the video. A lot of the time, you're not going to get recommended something that's not in your wheelhouse. If you're going to the movies and they're like, I know you want to see Terminator, but what about Harry Met Sally? And they're like, no.
Yeah.
You know? So it's an interesting ball game, but influencers, I think, are going to start learning lessons sooner than we have hoped, because I mean, I'm not naming names. Not going to do that. I'm not going to be that guy.
Do it. What does it rhyme with?
No, I can't. I'll tell you after.
Nice.
But like, I had this. So there's this person on social media who is just exploding, you know, and exploding in visibility, not even necessarily followers.
Yeah.
Right. So just blowing up. They're everywhere. Right. And I always like kind of do my due diligence, where if there's something that I appreciate that they're doing, or I thought was funny, or I think that we could like collaborate on, I'm going to reach out to them and be like, hey, I really like what you do. Like, if you ever want to come on a podcast, come on a Classroom Horror Stories, do whatever. Like, but before that, I just want to let you know, like, whatever you're doing is cool. So I reached out to this person, and she responded and was kind of like, thanks. Next,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
And then there was something that I posted that she liked. And then as time went on, it was like, I told myself, I was like, listen, the fact of the matter is, like, she's growing. I'm here, you know? It's like, I love to just like do something together. And then there was like this one moment where she was in New York, right? Recently. And in my apartment building.
Really?
So she posted a video, and I was like, that's the elevator in my apartment building. And I'm like, listen, if you had done that and didn't know, I would have been like, you are in my apartment building. Like,
And I would have went right down and been like, what's up, dude?
This
Like,
isn't me like trying to grasp at straws for like a reason to reach out to someone.
Yeah.
So I was like, that's my apartment building. Welcome to New York. I don't know how long you're here for. Like, welcome. And just read. And then read, and then read, and then read. And I thought to myself, I was like, what mentality goes into having no interest in this like collaborative process, or even just the communication? Like, I get it. I'm not everyone's cup of tea. God knows. But I'm like, at the same time, I don't think that it's the type of thing that could hurt anyone. So I was just like, I was thinking to myself, and I was like, if you're not going to respond to another content creator, do you respond to fans? What would you say to a fan on the street? Would you like help someone if they needed advice on something, stuff like this? And I thought to myself, I was like, I've seen a lot of instances where influencers have the online persona, but then you see them in person,
and they're way
it's a
different.
nightmare.
I'm a firm believer that influencers are not celebrities. No. Like, in order, like, what is if you look at what is a celebrity and what makes a celebrity special, is there's very little access to them, and they're doing things that are really cool,
100%.
right? When you look at a content creator, we are not celebrities. No. And I think when people start to lose their reality is when they start thinking, I've got millions of followers, I am a celebrity. No, you're not. No. I'm sure you've been this way too, and we've been in rooms like this, where it's like, you're in a room where there's everybody in the room has millions of followers. And I don't know anyone. Like
100%.
It's like, oh, you're so famous, I don't know who you are. You know, so like, we're famous in our own little worlds. You might be the biggest name in art TikTok. And you go to the Met, and people are like, you are incredible. I love your stuff. But you would go to a teacher conference, and people are like, oh, what do you teach?
What do you do? What are you doing here?
Like that's how I felt last week. I was up in Canada speaking at a conference. Like, people were like, love your videos, wanting to take pictures, all this stuff. But then I go to a different room, you know, a different place. It's like, oh, what do you do? You know,
exactly.
Like, nobody cares how many followers you have, and we're not celebrities.
It's true. And the best is when, like, there have been times where if I see somebody in, like, at the airport, I remember there was this one time that I was flying, I think LA back to Boston, and I saw this school field trip group that must have flown to LA, and then they're coming back. And if it's a group of kids, children, like, you know how this
Yep.
is, where it's like, if it's a group of kids and they seem like they're also chronically online, there's a percentage chance that one of them might have seen one of my videos and they might recognize me.
Yeah.
And I remember there was a kid who apparently is just like a huge fan and ran up to me and was like, I love your videos, watch them all the time, love the YouTube, like, can I take a picture, whatever. So we took a picture, and then it was like this other kid, this little jackass, walked up and he was like, who are you? Can I get a picture? And I was like, I want to teach you a goddamn lesson right now. You can't be this weird, like you're jumping on the bandwagon. You need to have this like individuality of don't take a picture with me because you heard that other people know me.
Yeah.
Learn, you know, because if there was someone else who that kid loved, I might never know who that person is. But there's nothing worse than it's like, I've never seen your face before.
Let me get a picture with you.
Literally, it's the weirdest thing.
And I think kids are going to struggle with that now because they do like kids are going to be kids, right? They don't
100%.
have the life experience that we have. And it's going to be like, oh, I heard this person's famous, so I want to go be around them. It's like, don't do that. Like, it's just a good lesson for them of just because someone might have a little bit of a following or someone else views them as like a celebrity, it doesn't mean you have to also worship that person.
It's
true.
It's true. And I think that like we throw around the word famous a lot.
Very loosely.
A lot.
Yeah.
And I think that term, like as time goes on, like you look at the people who are huge on Vine. There are kids who are going to watch that don't know what Vine is.
Yeah.
But they know the people who were who grew on Vine and then turned it into other things, which we're going to get to. So for the people who watch the No One Asked for This podcast, you know that I always try to start with good news, but unfortunately I have ADHD and I'm stupid, which is a weird little double sword. So I completely forgot to do the good news, but I want to do this piece of good news because it's about somebody who is actually very, very special to what I've been referred to as the Mr. J multiverse.
Nice.
I don't like that exists, but it's the only way to describe it.
I like it. I
So
like it.
There's a kid on our Twitch stream, right, who comes in all the time, and his name's Gavin.
Okay.
And he's just like a good example of some of the good news that comes from these communities that we build on social media because these kids, they watch our stuff and they will see modeling of being whatever it is we're doing. We could be teaching them the craziest shit they've ever heard in their whole lives. And they're like, got it. I'm going to go scream that in the street. But I think that I like to imagine that all the communities that I develop on social media are all based around having empathy and love for the people around you and just assuming the best and looking for the good.
Yeah.
On the No One Asked for This podcast, I want to give you guys good news because there's enough bad shit going around. If you want to find bad news, go look anywhere.
Not hard to find it.
Exactly. Oddly easy to find these days, but I want to give you a piece of good news because I think that it'll help sort of get your sort of wheels turning for this upcoming week, and I want you to feel this type of good news. Gavin is, I believe, a 10-year-old boy living in Missouri, okay? Gavin is starting a company that's called Little Warriors.
Ooh.
He now crowns himself as the founder and CEO of Little Warriors, which I love.
Nice.
Imagine being 10 and being able to spell CEO.
That's impressive. I can't even do it as an adult.
Literally, I'm like, whatever. He wants to start a company called Little Warriors, and it is a nonprofit that's based near St. Louis that provides gift cards to families that are stuck in the neonatal intensive care unit.
Whoa.
The NICU.
Yeah.
He wants to create a company that provides care
my
for families that are in the NICU for kids who need extra
You're an
additional
angel,
care.
Gavin. You're an angel.
Can
That's
you
awesome.
believe that? Like,
That's so cool.
I want to sort of like adjust the way that we're looking at the generation that we're in, because if you look at it in a certain light, you can look at this generation and be like, we're screwed. We're cooked. It's done. Like, we're past our point of like, we had a couple good people in history, but good people are not being produced. Wrong. I think that the communities that we're creating and the communities that multiple content creators are making are pushing this message of, if you're a good person, good things are going to happen. It's not always going to feel good. You're kind of going to feel like you're getting treated like shit every now and again, because you will. But if you are consistently just being a good person, being true to yourself and trying to add some good into the world, you're going to be a really great person.
Things are going to work out.
Gavin, I can personally assure you the things that you're doing here and the type of person you're becoming and the type of energy you're bringing into the world is going to come back tenfold to you. Even if it's not through Little Warriors, if it's through one of a million different things, you're bringing something into the world that could change a million people's lives. And that is amazing, and I commend you for it. That's so our good news for today.
That's so. When I was 10 years old, I thought I was going to become Anakin Skywalker and become a Jedi.
I still do.
So shout out to Gavin for actually doing something incredible. That's so cool, dude.
No,
That's
I think
so cool.
Because you watch like Shark Tank, right? And you see these kids come on, and you're like, at first you watch it and you're like, this is cute, but then you listen and you're like, this kid has all of it laid out, right? And the like sort of surrounding theme of that is like, when I was in 5th grade, I was like looking for my crotch and I was doing nothing in the world, right? I had nothing to provide. I was solely taking in information from bad sources at an experimental rate, right? And it turned me into like this little psycho, which is why I love Papa Roach.
There we go.
And I don't know. I think it just like, I imagine I'm like, if I was in 5th grade doing what some of these kids are doing, like what Gavin's doing, who knows what I would look like now?
Well, and I think about how easy it is to be critical of the generation that's younger. Like it's gone on for the history of man, right? Like every older generation is like, well, the next generation is screwed.
Sure.
And are there things that this generation underneath us have that are extremely challenging? Absolutely.
Yeah.
I can't imagine going to middle school and having Snapchat.
No.
I cannot imagine the temptation of laying in bed and just scrolling aimlessly for hours and hours. But however, there are some brilliant kids that are out there that are like, hey, I'm going to put all of this emotion and like care and things that I really do love into something, right? Like whether it's starting a nonprofit or a kid that just like, I really love World War II. I'm gonna learn everything I can about World War II. Like, like I think what we're gonna start seeing so much more of in schools is when like there's like a World War II unit, right? Like they're going to be in high school and the teacher's going to be talking about World War II. There's going to be so many more kids now that are like, hey, I'm actually an expert on this. Because I've watched hundreds of hours of this type of content since I was in 5th grade.
100%.
And I think that's cool. I think it's going to sharpen everybody up. And I think it's going to increase good conversations.
It's true. And I think that this generation, I could not agree more with you. I think that every generation has their sort of like roles, right? There is the youth, and then there's the early adulthood, and then there's the later adulthood. And
where are we, youth?
You and we are a late adulthood, unfortunately. I fear. We are unk status, unfortunately. I get called that 3 times a day.
I hear it all the time.
And I'm like, the problem that happens is that there's always this population of people who are like, the youths of this generation are idiots, they're screwed, they're stupid, they're lazy. And I think what people don't understand is that these generations, the kids of the generations each have their own little like quirks that the older generations will never understand unless you compare it to what was normal then, right? If you look at like a baby boomer, right? Who is now that older generation that they went one way or the other, and now they can either like really shit on the kids, or they can like kind of hype up the fact that like they were dealing with something too. Because back then, if you wanted to go out and go to Woodstock and live in a van for 4 months and bathe in mud, you know what? Who's going to tell you not to, other than the older generation at that time? But when you don't connect the fact that it's like, saying Skibbity Ohio Riz might sound stupid to you, but so isn't taking LSD in a field.
And then celebrating it.
Exactly.
Right? I didn't even think about that.
It's like you're eating shirts, but these generations, like, I don't know why. I don't know why anyone would allow this sort of mentality of like, those kids are stupid. They need to learn better. They need to learn from us. Your brain's fried from mushrooms. Stop trying to give me advice on anything. And I hear it from like becoming a content creator, right? You become a content creator, and then there are people at a generation higher than you, and they're like, that's never going to work. Do you know how much better I'm doing financially, mentally, etc. post making that leap? And I look back at the people who are like, that's a bad decision. I had people in my family who I was like, what do you think? And they're like, I wouldn't do that. I'm I'm like, okay.
Well, and that's like the thing about the content creation world.
Oh,
that
I might have to pause you real quick. Ladies and gentlemen, we are bringing back my favorite part of the podcast. Oh, one of the beautiful owners of First Rounds on Me. Hannah is going to bring us drinks. We don't know what they are, but she's bringing us drinks that the cafe of First Rounds on Me makes. You are like 5 for 5 on hits with these drinks. What do we have today?
Okay, I better be 6 for 6.
I can't wait.
Okay, so I bought 3 different ones.
Okay.
We have an iced ashiki chocolate strawberry matcha.
An iced ashiki chocolate strawberry matcha.
We have hot white chocolate.
Hot white chocolate.
And then we have a chai. They're all made with oat milk because I didn't know tummy issues.
Oh yeah.
Ooh.
No, you're doing a service
hot white
to
chocolate's what they call me on the basketball court.
the oat milk. She's doing a service to toilets today.
That's the chai. That's the chocolate. That's the ashiki.
Oh, this is incredible.
Man. All right,
Okay.
which one do you want?
I think I want to try the chai.
Okay.
Oh, wait.
Which one was
Chai.
chai? You
Chai. Got it.
Chai.
All right. Fantastic.
I want the
I'll take this
ashiki.
guy.
Give me some ashiki.
What is ashiki?
Yeah, how do you spell that?
It's a certain type of matcha. It's like a matcha company.
Oh my God.
What
Okay,
is
well, I'm going to
matcha?
try this and then I'm going to try.
Yeah.
It's green tea.
But like when someone said like what's actually in a matcha, I just know it's green.
It's green tea like powder.
Really?
Ooh.
Interesting.
And then you like mix it together with hot water and then we made it like chocolate strawberry delicious.
I've had such a negative understanding of matcha until I tried it at First Rounds on Me.
Yeah.
Every matcha I had before, it tasted like you took dirt and earth and put it into a drink.
And made it wet.
It made it wet. Yeah, and you made it sludgy. I had it
Charge you
here.
$9 for it.
I've had it a couple of times here. Each time, I love it. It's delicious.
try this.
All right, ready?
Oh.
Well,
I'm gonna use a straw and give it a swirl around.
Oh, let
this
me do
one's the
that.
chai. Oh, I'm so goddamn excited. I'm gonna burn every taste bud off of my tongue. I'm so excited. I can't wait. You ready?
Yes.
Cheers, my friend.
Cheers, brother.
Welcome.
Great seeing you, man.
Very, very glad you're here.
so
All
pumped
right.
to be here. Oh, let's go, dude.
Oh my God,
That's
do
incredible.
I like chai? What the hell? I drink black coffee. What am I like? Oh. I'm like killing myself trying to drink this coffee. This is delicious.
I'm feeling very
God
cheeky
damn.
right now.
You're feeling a cheeky.
I'm feeling a cheeky.
We all want to feel a little more cheeky.
Woohoo.
Jesus Christ. No, this is delicious.
This is great.
Remind me your brother's name?
John.
John. Would you like this drink?
You're not gonna drink.
I don't even remember
There's
what this
3
third
of
one
them.
is. Which
There's
one?
3
Which
of
one
them.
was this one? That was the white chocolate?
This is white chocolate.
Oh.
Come get some white chocolate.
Yeah. Come drink the
My,
drink that's
my
based
brother
off.
John is here as my handler right
Of
now.
course.
Make it-
My
make agent.
handle. Make sure that I don't get in any trouble.
Yeah.
Okay. Again, First Rounds on Me. If you're anywhere in the city in New York, they're on 25th and 6th. It is some of the best coffee you'll ever have in your entire life. Some of the best podcast studios I've
Yeah.
ever seen in my entire life.
It's when I walked into this place, I didn't know what to expect.
Yeah.
And it's a sweet, like I just want to hang out here.
It's dope. Oh yeah, because that space. So there's the cafe in the front, and then there's like the hang space in the back, and then there's the studio. I had my birthday party here. Like you can do whatever here. I love this place, and the people who run it are just really, really good people. Carter's the shit. Okay, so we were talking about content creation and longevity and like it being a career and all of this. Go ahead.
It is really hard for older generations to understand that you can make a living off of content creation.
Yeah.
It's really hard because a lot of older generations, their type of media they consume is so different.
Mm-hmm.
Like for a lot of older generations, they're consuming just cable television.
Yeah, 100%.
And they think that's the peak.
It's the extent of entertainment. Yeah.
But then you look at like the views and like I remember when it first hit me when I was looking at like my Instagram and TikTok views. I'm like, I'm getting more views than cable TV.
Yeah.
This is insane.
Oh, 100%.
This is really cool. And then all of a sudden you've got brands that start knocking. And they're
100%.
like, hey, we want to work with you. We want to collab. We want to do this. We want to do that.
Yeah.
And it's hard to get to that point though.
It is.
Where that's the thing about content creation is if it was, this is so cliche, if it was easy, everybody would be doing it.
It's true.
You know, but
It's true.
It's really challenging, and to make it a career, it's hard. Where
Yeah.
I think you and I both were similar, where we both went viral early on.
Yep.
And then we saw an opportunity to make something happen.
100%.
And here we are 6 years later,
Yeah.
still doing it.
It's true.
And like for a lot of kids, they want to be content creators. And I love that. I think that's great. But you do have to think to yourself, like, what value add am I actually bringing with my content? Like,
It's
what
true.
type of content am I bringing? Like, for you, yours is extremely funny.
Yeah.
Right? Yours is funny and silly and goofy.
Thank you.
For me, mine is just ultra relatability.
Sure.
That's
Easy.
my content.
Yeah.
I think of my brother John, we just referenced, like his stuff is just like education, right?
Yeah.
Like I think there's just a couple different buckets of where content is. You have education, you have fun, and you have relatability.
100%.
That's where you kind of fill in there.
Yeah.
And I think there's a lot of people that want to get into content creation. Like, oh, I want to be a content creator. Like, oh, well, what type of content do you want to make?
Sure.
Well, I don't know. It's like, okay, well, you got to come up with something.
You got to have an answer there. Yeah.
And you have to kind of have your niche.
Sure.
You know, there has to be like, did you ever think that content creation would get you to this point?
No, and especially not because I got reminded of what my first TikTok ever looked like.
Oh no.
I'm going to describe it to you right now.
no.
Don't worry, I got you. So when I started my TikTok account, the intent was never to have anything to do with the teaching side of things.
Yeah.
My TikTok is called Fishing for Clout because I grew up fishing and I really like fishing and it's been very peaceful for me. I really liked watching videos of people fishing, which is as hard to say and grasp as it sounds. And I thought to myself, I was like, all right, if I will watch this, why wouldn't anyone else watch it? And I see these people, they get sponsored by these companies and they get sent on these fishing tournaments. And like, that's the dream. I want to do the fishing world tournament classic. Still would, but I made the TikTok and I was like, I'm going to grow this. And then I'm going to get in touch with brands and then I'm going to go be a professional fisherman. And that's going to be my life.
Bass Pro Shop's going to sponsor you. Boom,
Dude,
you made it.
Bass Pro Shop, I'd do it tomorrow. But that's the thing is that it's like when I first started out, I was like, all right, now I got to make fishing content. And I didn't know what the hell I was doing. You know those videos where it goes from one picture and then it takes the 3D box and it transforms it into another one?
Yes.
I did that with 4 pictures of me fishing.
Hold the fish out.
And in the background is Tyler Childers' naked. What the hell is the song called? I'm gonna find my first video.
Yeah.
And it's the craziest thing you've ever seen. And it's horrible. It's absolutely terrible. So when I first started, I was like, screw it. I'll put up some fishing videos. Then I was like, listen, I'm a teacher. You know, it's like when I was teaching, I was like, this is part of my life. I want relatability. I want approachability. And I wanted to show them what we were doing. And I started that at the COVID boom for social media.
Yeah.
So it was like whatever niche, like if one of my fishing videos had blown up for some reason, I would have probably been in the niche of fishing. And don't get me wrong, I would have been fine with that. I still love fishing. But I remember the very first video that ever like really took off was I was teaching remotely and I had this worksheet and I was like, I need to find a way to know if my students are doing the work. So they would have a worksheet and we'd be on Zoom and on like the third question, I would be like, tell Mr. J he has a big forehead. So they would unmute and they'd be like, Mr. J, you have a big forehead. And I'd be like, that is so rude. I'm calling your mom right now. And I made that video of that response. And I was like, why would you even say that? And it got like the first 12 hours, it had like 2 million views. And I was like, oh.
Famous.
Whoa.
Famous.
I was like, God damn. But I learned 2 things in that moment. I learned 1, the education side of things, like everybody wants to know what's going on in the classroom anyway, because for people who are in the classroom, they're like, I wonder what teachers do. I know that they're all saints, but I'm just going to like hope for the best. But when you see what's going on inside, it's a whole different, experience. And it's kind of educational because you're seeing a side of life that you don't know. But then there's the side of, I learned that people love watching me get made fun of.
Yeah.
And what they don't know about me is that like, there's nothing these kids can say to me that I haven't said 5 inches from a mirror. So it's like, I'm at the
I used to listen to Papa Roach. I've said some crazy things in the mirror.
I have headbutted a wall. I've tried to put my fist through a wall, failed. But it's like, that's the thing is that it's like, I'm okay with all of it. And I was able to make sort of like a niche around like this joke of like, let's make fun of Mr. J.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I see how the kids act in the classroom. I have people who have reached out to me when I was in the classroom and they're like, I wish you were my teacher. I would do anything to have you as a teacher. And I was like, yeah, you're going to keep that same energy when I hand you essay assignment.
But I have to teach you math.
Yeah. When I hand you Macbeth, are you going to be like, thank God Mr. J is my teacher? And it's like, where art thou? Like, no, it's like, I think that what people misunderstand is that you're seeing lunchtime.
Yeah.
afternoon, maybe even before school if some of the kids are there.
Carefully curated content.
Exactly.
Yep.
So it's like a lot of people don't understand that this isn't the whole job, but it is a piece of my life. So what you mentioned is dead on balls accurate, where it's like the relatability, huge niche for that. And I think if you can add that relatability to something that is a career that a lot of people have respect for, they have an experience with it because most people went to school, unless you're living in like Middle Earth. And it's like, you have to consider the fact that it's like, a lot of these people do have something in common with this content because they all have some connection to it. The Classroom Horror Stories, which you're going to be on next week.
Pumped.
Oh my God, I'm so excited. I got some stories. They're earth-shattering. But it's like, it's easy to do because everyone has some association with it. Yeah. And it's a good niche, I like it. Listen, one thing that we do on the podcast, and I know that we are at how many minutes? We're at 36 minutes right now.
Nice.
Beautiful. So what we try to do on the podcast as often as possible is we try to give advice. Okay.
Yeah.
I have a lot of people who reach out to me and they ask me, they're like, Mr. J, I have some questions about, getting older. I have some questions about, relationships with my parents.
Oh.
I have questions about like my role in the world.
Yeah.
And first and foremost, if you reach out and you ask for advice and you send something to the email, you're already doing an enormous step, and that's incredible for you. And I'm very, very proud of you for that. But they reach out, and don't get me wrong, I am not perfect for giving advice to children, but I know how I felt in a lot of these times, and I can give them my personal experience. I'm excited for you to help out with this because I feel like you have a very realistic and straightforward and not sugar-coated look at life.
Yeah. I just realized you're kind of like the new ADHD Mr. Rogers.
I'm going to put that on a goddamn billboard.
Yeah.
The ADHD
You're
version
the
of
ADHD
Mr. Rogers.
version of Mr. You need next episode. You need to be like full Mr. Rogers get up.
Oh, like the sweater,
The
with
sweater.
shirt. Oh
all
my
of it
God.
start breaking out into song. Like
I can
really
brand that. I'm like a less approachable Mr. Rogers. Yeah.
You graduated from Lorax and now you're ADHD Mr. Rogers.
That's great. And
Put
Mr.
that on a
Rogers would be
t-shirt.
spinning in his grave right now. Oh my God. He's like, no. But I have some people who wanted to reach out and ask for some advice, and we're gonna roll right with it. You
let's
ready?
do it. I'm ready.
All right.
I'm ready.
Advice. If you have any advice that you want me and my guests and everyone to respond to on the podcast, send it to nooneaskedforthispod@gmail.com. NO1 asked-for-this-pod@gmail.com. Don't DM them to me. Don't do that because I'm not going to read them. Jesus Christ. But this one is titled A Fan from India.
Oh, shout out.
Sick.
Worldwide.
Global. That's what we always say is that we have like a global dance that I can't do right now, but it's always like, it's a little bit of an excitement that everyone's always like, you need to stop dancing on camera. But whenever we have people from around the world, it's a global dance moment. So I'm very excited about this.
Just, it's on the shoulders, a little shoulder dance.
Yeah. Oh my God. The white guy dance.
Global,
the little like
right here.
shift, snap,
right here.
shift,
right here.
snap.
There was me at
shift,
Paragon
snap.
last night.
I'll do this
right
for
here.
4 hours at a wedding. Little variation of it. I'll lift a hand.
Wedding dance for a hates to see us coming.
Oh my God.
Sprinkler.
And now I'm getting married to a Greek.
Oh, that's gonna be an awesome dance floor.
It's a sick dance floor, but I can't use it.
Sorry, keep going.
No,
keep
please.
going.
Okay, this one is from Jyotsna. 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 I'm almost positive that's the pronunciation. Hello, protector of the trees and mayor of Whoville.
Respect.
You big fluffy Lorax. Thank you, Jyotsa, for that. Needed that. My name's Jyotsa. I'm writing to you from India. Yes, I absolutely love your global dance. I've been listening to your podcast on Spotify for quite some time now. I start my week with the No One Asked for This podcast and end it with Classroom Horror Stories. You're a real one. Your episodes have become a comforting ritual for me. I turned 16 this December and I've been struggling with SH for the past 3 years. It's been during a period of toxic friendships and relationships. I've tried many times to stop, and sometimes I manage for a month or two, but I end up relapsing. I truly do want to get better, but I don't know where to start anymore. One of my biggest triggers is losing friendships. Last year, I was in a very toxic friendship or relationship, and when it ended, some of my friends made me feel as though everything was my fault. I ended up losing several friends, people I genuinely cared about and felt connected to. Now that I regularly talk to only a handful of friends, and at times that makes me question whether I'm the problem. On top of that, I'm being pressured to choose my academic stream for next year. In India, we select our stream in 11th and 12th grade, and that choice often shapes our future career paths. I feel overwhelmed and unsure if I'm incapable of making the right decision. I'm trying to rebuild myself, but it's difficult when I feel like I've lost so much and I'm constantly questioning my worth. Thank you for taking the time to read this. Your podcast helps more than you realize. Jesus, don't make me cry right now. I hope you might consider featuring this on the No One Asked for This podcast. And I sincerely hope you don't go bald. Okay. Bro. All right. I'm going to start off with, I think, what needs to be pointed out. Jyotsna. First and foremost, the fact that you're reaching out and stating that you want to get better, you're taking steps that people your age won't take until they're 40. Let's start off by saying that you're doing something that most people don't have the capacity to do. The next thing I'll say is that a lot of the time when you're in this age range, you know, like this 16-year-old high school age range, people show their true selves very early. We choose to act upon it very late, right? Where these people start showing you, they're like, wow, you really weren't there for me, but you might be a good friend. When in reality, it's like these people are actually kind of unveiling who they really are. You're just not taking the hints, right? So what I would recommend to you is that when people show you their true colors, believe them. Believe them and understand that there is bad fruit on trees that you can cut off. And I think a lot of the times you know that that's what you should do, and that's why it's the hardest thing to do. A lot of the times the things you have to do first are the hardest parts of what you need to do. And I think that with these friendships and these relationships, you're coming to find that these friendships that are pulling you back, they're not friendships, they're companionship, right? They're the feeling of not being alone. And that's a great feeling. However, it's obviously putting a ceiling on what you're able to accomplish as an individual. And it also is causing you to have insecurities on things that you don't need to have insecurities about. In 11th and 12th grade, you guys choose your career path. First and foremost, that's not how that's actually going to end up working. I don't know the culture in India, and I'm not going to pretend that I do. But I think as human beings living in 2026, we can all sort of trust that what you decide to do in 11th and 12th grade does not have to be what you do your entire life. I didn't know I was going to be a podcast, YouTuber, content creator, whatever the hell you call me, when I was in 11th and 12th grade. Absolutely not. I thought I was going to be a doctor. So we all know how far we can reach in 11th and 12th grade. So the thing that I'm going to leave you with before I shift it over to taller me is that, like, you put this pressure on yourself to make the right choices immediately with your friendships and your relationship with yourself and your future paths. You're so goddamn young and you have so many years ahead of you. The best thing that you can do is just slow down and understand that you are in the twilight of who you are as a person, and you're not expected to know everything, and you don't have to do everything perfectly.
Very well said.
I try.
Very well said. That was
do
good.
my best. Yeah,
that was good. You did such a good job of being able to like reach this age demo. I'm gonna guess most of your audience is probably boys, right? It's probably dudes.
No.
Really? It's actually mostly women?
So my demographics on TikTok, it says, so the age range, it says like 70% 18 through 24, which means it's like a bunch of 12-year-olds who just say that they're 18 online. But it's like 70 to 80% female.
Really? Interesting. But regardless, like you do a great job of being able to like speak to this group of people.
I appreciate
think
that.
when it comes to friends,
Yeah.
like even as adults, like I just had this conversation with another adult about sometimes friends will come and go and you'll naturally outgrow friends. And when that happens, it does hurt. Like friendship breakups are hard.
Sure.
And it's something that will always last.
Yeah.
It's always going to be there. Does it look differently when you're 16 versus when you're 40? Yes, it does.
100%.
But it's also one of those where I think people, when they're younger, they want to feel like they are liked by everybody.
Sure.
And you're not going to be liked by everybody.
It's true.
You know, so there's going to be moments when you might go through different friend groups, and that's okay. When I was in college, I went through so many different friend groups where initially I'm like, oh, I think these people, like I like these people, they're fun. And then you get put in different situations with them and you're like, wait, actually, I want my path to go this way. They want their path to go this way. We're just going to kind of have this amicable, just like kind of breakup.
Yeah.
Like we're going to go down our own
You
paths.
outgrew each other.
Yeah. And it's like, I'm rooting for you. Hope everything goes well for you. Hope you get what you want. But I can't go down that way with you.
Yeah.
And it's really hard when you're 16 to understand that, but it's okay.
Yeah.
It's totally okay. And then when it comes to the academic side, yeah, there's so much pressure when it comes to that stuff. And I know different cultures are different. Like I think of my mother who grew up in communism, communist Poland.
Same with my dad.
And like she was in a dance conservatory at 3 years old. They said, here's what you're going to do. You're going to be at the age of 3, you're going to start doing this.
Yeah.
And like I think of a lot of kids, they got a lot of pressure underneath them, and how do they navigate where to go? I think the first thing that you need to do is ask somebody, what do you think I'm good at?
Yeah.
Ask somebody, what do you think I'm good at? Of
course.
And then when they give you that answer, that's going to help you go in a certain direction. There's a great author, an NYU professor named Scott Galloway. I really like him. And he's talked about how we've got to be careful with telling every single person, follow your passion. Do what you are most passionate about.
Yeah.
It's like, well, that's great, but there's a lot of passion projects that don't make a living, right? And when you get older, you're going to have to make a living. Like you want to be able to provide for yourself to live. What you should think about is, what am I good at? What are my skills? So I would tell him, sorry on the friendship breakups. It happens. Yeah. It's okay. You'll be okay. You'll find other friends, and then ask somebody in your life, an adult who you trust, what am I good at?
Yeah.
And then that will help you go in the right direction.
100%. And I think that what I try to remind these kids, because you're right, it's a much younger demographic who reach out. And I think there are two things I want to point out. I've read a lot of these advice questions. A lot of people are noticing that the advice you're asking about is very common and very similar to all the other advice questions. So for all these people who reach out and they're like, I just feel alone, I feel like I'm doing everything wrong. Well, what about the 700 emails I get a week of people who also feel alone and that they're doing everything wrong? When you are in middle school or high school and you come to me and you're like, I feel like I'm not doing what I should be doing, I feel like I'm behind, you're comparing yourself to an 8th grader. You're comparing yourself to a kid who hasn't had a clean wipe in 4 years. Why are we comparing just because this kid's better at pretending that he knows what he has to do, right? Just because you're more self-aware and you're like, damn, I feel like I could be doing more, and this kid is a jackass and is just blindly confident. Like, I know that's me, but like, just because this kid is blindly confident and hides his own insecurities better than you, why do we have to compare and assume that you're doing worse than him? That kid's not reaching out to a podcast so that he can get information on how to become a better person. You're ahead of the game and you don't even know it. So it's like, take these wins. If you look for red in a room, you're going to find it. But if you don't, 9 times out of 10, you won't find it. Okay? There are a million things in this room that are red, but if I told him, look me in the eyes and tell me one thing you saw in this room that was red when you walked in, he probably couldn't find more than 2 or 3 things. But if he goes looking for it, he's going to have a list. You're looking for reasons to find out why you're behind in comparison to kids your age. You're in high school. No one knows what they're doing. The teacher teaching you does not know what they're doing. I can confidently tell you, when I was teaching kids, I was barely even on health insurance. I didn't know what I was doing. So just understand, the human experience is not knowing what to do next and just finding the beauty in learning and developing and finding a community where you can commiserate and feel better.
This is just off the top of my head, and this might be wrong. I think one of the number one things you can do if you're in high school and you're like, how do I set myself up for success? Like, what do I do to, put myself at the top of the list of whatever it is? Develop healthy habits.
Easy.
I think that's it.
Yeah.
Work hard. Get up early and go work out, right?
Sure.
Like do things that are get into the habit of, I'm going to keep really working hard. So then when I'm 25, I have that skill set. I have those habits that are developed, because the best time to start a healthy habit,
We love a healthy habit.
We love a healthy habit. We love it. but that time to start one was yesterday.
Yeah.
And the worst time to start it is tomorrow.
Yeah.
So start it right now.
100%.
Start it right now. And then you're just going to you're going to take your reps. It's going to take time, but all of a sudden you're going to wake up one day and you're going to be 30 years old and you're like, hey, this worked out. This worked out okay.
Also, can I give you guys a little bit of insight into the fact that this whole idea of not knowing what the right choice is and kind of going with it and winging it is a lifelong journey. I'm 29, right? So I didn't realize I needed therapy and mental health work and medicine until I was 25, 26. And my anxiety just started getting like completely out of hand, like to the point where I was having health problems.
You had the heart issues, right?
I had the heart issues for a long time, and that's its own freaking ball game. But I didn't realize that I needed therapy and psychiatry and all of this until very, very late in my life. And I thought to myself, when I started therapy at first, I was like, man, what if I had started this sooner? Imagine how much more free and how much more self-confident I might have been if I had started this a couple years ago. And that is a bullshit way of looking at life, because there will always be something you could have done before. Somebody could have invested in Google in 1990 and they could be a billionaire, but it's like, you can't, once the hindsight is 2020, you can't use that as like a stat sheet. And I'm gonna give you an example. In the past couple of months, with the different projects that I've been working on and like playing around with comedy and playing around with all of like the YouTube series and the content, my anxiety has been worse than it's been in a very, very long time.
Why do you think that is?
I think it has to do with trying something new.
I think it's also probably like, what is anxiety? Anxiety is the fear of the unknown.
Sure.
There's a lot of unknowns for you, right?
Of course.
Yeah. Sorry, keep going.
No, but like, you're completely right. And I think that it absolutely is the fear of the unknown. But like, I had gone a long time where it was like, I was as chill as I've ever been.
Yeah.
I got on my medicine. I'm on Zoloft for my ADHD and anxiety combination. And then they put me on hydroxyzine for my insomnia. And I was like, wow, that's why I wake up at 3 a.m. and then I cannot go back to bed. Right. And right now, as of today, like I was in therapy for a year, and then I wanted to do what I was kind of like recommended, where it was like, take a break, institute all the things that you were working on and start putting those into a daily process. And I did.
Yeah.
And I think that as time has gone on and different things have like changed, and, you know, the engagement in the different career paths and all the different like expectations I put on myself, my anxiety's kind of crept back in. And it's made me feel like a little less and less like myself. And it comes and goes.
Yeah.
It ebbs and flows. But what I want you guys to know is that it's like, I recently signed back up for therapy because I'm like, look, I'm 29. I know that I can do something about this. And it doesn't mean that because I did therapy and I stopped doing it and now I have to go back, it doesn't mean that I've gone back in time.
Yeah.
I'm now doing therapy for 29-year-old Tyler. And this person who started, like, if you start doing therapy for all the stuff that you're going on at 16, it's not gonna be the same therapy that you do at 30. So what I want you to know is that, like, take me as an example. Like, there's never a bad time to start looking at yourself as a canvas, you know? And I don't know, I think that ultimately, and we spent so much time on one person, but that just means it was a good story. And we're gonna get one more before we pop off. But like, these advice questions, they all come in the same sort of frame where it's like, I just feel like I'm behind.
I'm lonely and I don't know which direction to go, and I feel like other people are ahead of me. Yeah, like
Tis life.
And like, even as adults, there's things that we do in our life that, like, when we're still like floating, like you look at somebody like you and I, where I think a lot of younger people would be like, they've got their stuff figured out. They know exactly what they're doing. Man, I've got so many times when I'm sitting there talking with people and I ask them for guidance on which direction to go.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know where to go. I don't know what do I do next? What do I change? What do I do? And like, I had to make some changes in my life like this year, because I was really struggling with just having energy. I was so tired. I was so exhausted. Teaching, content creation, all this stuff. I would run out of gas at like 2 p.m. And I was like, there's something wrong with me. I don't know what it is. I went to the doctor and he was like, honestly, dude, you're just kind of living an unhealthy life right now.
Yeah.
You're exercising a little bit. You're not eating great. You're stressed out a lot. You're traveling a lot. Just make some changes and see how this goes.
Sure.
And the biggest change in my life has been getting up probably 4 to 5 days a week and going to the gym at 5:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
And I am somebody who I always was terrible at getting up early in the morning.
Yep.
I was so bad at it, so bad at it. But then I was like, I need to do this so then I can start like having the positive changes in my life.
Yeah.
And it has completely changed my life. Am I saying that everybody needs to get up at 5:30 to go to the gym? No, but you're going to find those things in your world that really do help you. For me, going to the gym isn't just about lifting weights. For me, that's my therapy.
100%.
That is suffering with my gym community together. Shout out Origin Strength. You guys rock.
There you go.
Suffering with them together and going through that and starting my day off with something really, really hard gives me so much confidence. And my wife has even said that it has changed our marriage.
Yeah.
It's made me so much more disciplined and all this stuff. So these kids who feel like they're behind, even as adults, we're constantly changing things to try to make ourselves better.
Yeah.
You're not going to be perfect at 16. You're going to be far from it. Not be perfect ever.
Yeah. Like comparison is the thief of joy. That's a cliche. Everyone has said that. Everyone has heard that.
We live in a world of just comparison right now.
Exactly.
Constantly.
It's like, and it has never helped you. The only thing it's ever done is made you think that all of these advances that you've accomplished aren't enough. And I think that people don't take enough time to really like shout out the fact that they've come really, really far. I have come substantially further than where I was 7-8 years ago.
Yeah.
And it can be funny, of course, but it can also be like really sad and really upsetting to know that there was a time where I was almost the opposite as I was right now. And I had to put on a mask to be like, I'm still Mr. J. I'm happy. Are you happy? Let's be happy. And it's like, I can't speak for everybody, but for me, that shit just wells up inside of you, you know? And until you get it out somehow, it's going to sit there.
My read on you, because like we met, 4 years ago?
Yeah.
Like I think you seem more at peace than you were 4 years ago.
Yeah.
You seem way more confident and comfortable with where life is going for you.
Yeah.
And that's cool.
Yeah.
You know, it's been cool to see you grow in that way.
Well, I can tell you, her name is Rania. No, she is like, I know that it's obviously like, I understand the codependence theory, but it's like, I think that when you you are who you hang out with, right? Rania is peace.
Yeah.
Right? Rania is peace. And I, for the longest time, was living in mental chaos. I was living in this controlled chaos where my room was a mess, but I was like, but I know where my dirty underwear are. And I was like, I'd never wear those 3 times. And, you know, when I realized that it wasn't working, and I realized that it's like to the point where I had like what some cardiologists have called a minor heart attack because of anxiety, whatever.
Get over it.
It is what it is. You can call it whatever it is. I was just excited. No, but like when I knew it was getting too far, there was around the same time where I was like, I need to stop allowing people who are adding to this chaos into my life. And when you make that change that you're like, I want to solely allow the positives into my life. And that's when the universe is like, I have something for you.
Yeah.
It's a little tiny Cypriot woman and she's about to make you a completely different person. And I don't know, she's just really kind of outlined being able to be caring for myself, being able to be willing to admit when something isn't what I want it to be, but knowing that that's okay. Like sometimes it really is one person. And this is what I'm going to leave off for the first advice question that we read is like, you are having people thrown at you by the universe. They're the wrong ones. They're meant to teach you that you're expecting someone that's going to be that positive change. And when you find it, you're going to feel incredible. But you don't have to sit around and be weighed down by people who have no intention of making you feel any better.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah?
I love it. That's so good.
How much time are we at? An hour.
Ooh.
Listen, we're going to come back next week with a little bit more advice on the next podcast because we got to one. It must have been a good one
was a good
because
one.
we hammered that advice
Flow
out.
state, as the kids say.
Oh my, what is it?
Flow state.
Flow state?
You entered flow state.
Oh, flow state.
Flow state.
I need to start entering flow states more often.
It's just like you're just going.
I mean, it gets to a point where I'm like, I really do want these kids to know that like they're gonna be fine.
Yeah.
Like you're gonna be
You'll be
okay,
okay.
right?
You'll be okay.
Listen, you could be anywhere, but you're here, and that's pretty sick. And I really appreciate you for being here.
Dude,
like
thanks
you
for
could
having
be
me,
anywhere.
man. Thanks for having me.
No, it was awesome, and you're obviously going to come back at one point or another.
Hope so.
For everyone watching the podcast today on Monday, on Friday, Gabe is going to be joining us for Classroom Horror Stories. We're
Yeah,
going to hear
baby.
some of his stories. We're going to hear some stories from Reddit you brought. Oh, Jesus Christ. And you're going to hear some of the stories that I got written into from around the world. They're as bad as they always are. I cannot wait to see you there. Be good to yourself. Be good to the people around you. Just be a good person. I love you all. I'll see you guys in 1 week. Bye, everybody.
Peace.
See ya.